Are you happy? Are you deep down satisfied with the person you are, how you're living your life, and the future as it appears today? Do you have a passion? Is there any one thing in your life that is so important that it makes prioritizing everything else simple? If the answer to any of those questions is no, do you have any idea why? Welcome to the Verimour Speaks podcast. I'm your host, Dawn Keegan, co-founder of the dating app Verimour and the nonprofit app Hero Harbor. Happiness, mine and that of others, is something that's always been very important to me. I've devoted my life to understanding how we take the things life throws at us and combine that with our own special gifts to come away with an experience that, while not always perfect, is one we are proud of and allows us the fewest regrets and least amount of heartache. Whether through my personal musings or conversations with guests, the aim here is not to find a one-size-fits-all to-do list of change, but instead a mindset that lessens our fear, reduces judgment of ourselves and others, and frees each individual to build the life that truly represents happiness for them. Thank you for joining us on the Verimour Speaks podcast. I've always worked to provide the most honest, helpful content I could in forms that reach the largest possible audience. And my extreme dislike of greed-driven organizations means I do so without ads or sponsors. But for us to continue improving with better guests and more consistent production quality, we need your help. If you have found any value in what we do and the content provided, please show us a little love by making a contribution directly to the podcast or as a tax-deductible donation on the heroharbor.org website. Thank you again for listening, and please enjoy the show. Just a quick note, in the first half of Rick's interview, we heard him talk about how he had developed diabetes from the overwhelming amount of alcohol over the years. He recently got a report from his VA doctor that diabetes had been completely taken off of his record. He no longer has it. And so in this interview, you'll hear, how that came about, what he did. And, it's just a really big, huge event for him. So we're very pleased, and we just want to share the additional information and let you hear, add a little more poignance to this interview and his experience.
Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls.
About 8 months ago, I met Ron, and him and I, started hanging out a little bit, and,
Oh, that's the one thing I didn't explain, is that you and I connected through a mutual friend. Yes.
Right. And so I met Ron about 5 months ago, and he turned me on to, it's called Konig Water. It's a machine that's made in Japan, and it's an electrolyzed reduced water is what it is. And so I was started on it because my wife has rheumatoid arthritis, so I was going to get her on. I had no idea, I had no desire to do anything with it. So he brought it over. Well, she wouldn't drink the water.
Right.
And I felt bad because Ron's coming to my house 3 days a week bringing water for free.
Right.
And I was like, holy cow. So one day I just popped the top on one and took it with me and drank it. And I noticed a little bit of difference in that day. Because I broke my back. I've got some medical issues just being stupid on motorcycles. But, and the pain lessened. And I was like, wow. I said, let me go ahead and give this a chance then.
Right.
So I was drinking 2 to 3 to 4 gallons of water a day. And the water share program, Ron does it for 30 days with people.
Right.
Well, my time was coming up. And I noticed a huge difference, the way I felt. And, I didn't talk to anybody about it, but it was coming time to end. you know, and so I called Ron and I was like, my water's fixing to end. How do I get one of these machines? He's like, well, meet me for breakfast and I'll tell you.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately for me, it means shelling out quite a bit of coin, but yes, I want one too, and I haven't even gone through it yet. I just but yeah, I'm with you. So keep going.
and so we went to Orlando, picked the machine up, brought it back, and yeah, I mean they're not cheap. Don't get me wrong. And I didn't tell my wife I was buying it. So I walk in, and she's like, "What the hell is that?" And
Right.
she knew the price on it, you know, because I told her. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, "You didn't talk to me?" And I said, "Well, Tesha, so you're going to put a price on my health and my well-being?" She
Right.
immediately stopped at that moment. And she said, "From this point forward, you don't spend anything over $200 without at least talking
Right.
to me first."
Right.
And I said, "Deal."
Yeah, exactly.
And
Done.
in those 5 months that I've been on the water,
Mm-hmm.
I've stopped 11 medications from the VA. I've not had a nightmare in that time frame. That big ball of anger that I always carried around in my chest, that I'd be driving down the road screaming at nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody around. I'd be in my house by myself screaming. I'd go out in the woods and just freaking scream, just so full of rage. It's gone.
I love it.
My
And the thing is,
diabetes,
it's go ahead, keep going.
my diabetes on 2 medications from the VA, my blood sugar never was below 250. And I didn't eat bad.
Mm-hmm.
And never didn't eat sweets, didn't eat all that. My blood sugar stayed at 250 with 2 different medications.
Mm-hmm.
Since I started drinking the water, my blood sugar has not been over 112 with no medications.
I love
It's
it.
about, I mean, I think it's about healing the body is what it is.
It
You
is. Well,
know, and
yeah, you think about it, there's no possible way that you can think clearly with that much and that toxicity in your body. And here's the thing, I drink regular water. Now I drink Brita filtered or whatever, but that's all I drink. I drink water during the day, and up until recently I drank vodka at night because I couldn't stinking sleep.
right.
And I believe I have chronic insomnia, and I believe it's because I took their psych meds for so many years and it jacked up my head. Either way, alcohol, any kind of sleep was better than no sleep. But the point is, because I never crave sugar, and I love sugar. Don't get me wrong, I love desserts, but they don't interest me anymore because I've cleansed my body. That's all there is to it. And I didn't start out to do that. I knew instinctively that it's healthier. I didn't want all that preservatives and all that crap. And I don't go overboard. I'm not vegan. I'm not any of that stuff. I just drink water. And so you cleanse your body, and you just went one step further, and you went something that was, it's like water. Whatever. The point is, that alone, just detoxifying your body, your body can think again, because sugar and all of those things, people, they don't go think about this, but sugar triggers the same pleasure receptors that cocaine and all of those other things. And it's addictive, just like all those other things. So you can be high and mighty about not being on drugs, but I'm telling you right now, if you do sugar, whether it be through the same thing with coffee has its own issues. And so, people, whatever you're addicted to, I don't care, anything you do in excess. I was just telling this to my roommate this morning. Anything you do in excess you got to figure it's not a positive thing. So just cleansing your body in any form or fashion is going to help. But it's got to be a permanent change. It can't be just, I'm going to, detox this week and then go back to doing my shit next week. It doesn't work that way. Again, the old saying is, you treat your body right, and it will do the same for you. So, okay.
My birthday was 2 days ago.
Happy birthday!
Well, thank you. And I went to the store and I got a 2 and a 7 for my birthday candles. And put them on the cake. And my wife asked me, she's like, 27? You're not 27, you're 52. I said, Tesha, I'm telling you now, I feel like I'm 27 again. I said, that's why I'm putting it on there, because I have
this fancy scale that tells me, because it does all kind of, body composition and that, and it will tell you that your what is the word? Hang on, I have it right here. It's your biological age or whatever. What is metabolic age? And you absolutely, and especially if it would get even better if you were, out exercising and things like that. But your heart, yes, those when all of those things are in line, you're not just mentally 27. You really are getting there physically, and it's huge and it's amazing. And the thing is, you can make such a difference in this world when you feel like that. You can't possibly be your best self, and you cannot possibly, reach your potential when you're walking around with all that junk in you, mentally, physically, elsewise.
Right. And as a result of the water, I mean, my relationship with my family has changed. Here's probably a month ago, I own a pressure washing company, and I did some commercial stuff. Well, I was waiting on $7,000 in payments, and it wasn't coming when they said, and I got stressed out about it. And I came home one day, and me and my wife were bickering a little bit, because I'm stressed. And I didn't tell her that I was waiting on that much money. I didn't want to stress her out. So she told me, she looked at me and she said, "I'm going to call Ron. That water's not working anymore. You're grumpy again." And so I said, "Well, let me explain to you." So I explained it to her, and she's like, "Well, just talk to me about the things." And it changed. I mean, our relationship is completely different. I mean, I enjoy coming home and being with my family, being part of my family, with my kids and the wife. And I mean, it's enjoyable to me because prior to getting on the water with Ron, I worked all day. I'd get home and all I wanted to do is eat, take a shower, and go to bed. Yeah. I mean, that's all I wanted to do. And that was the consistency of my life. Work, shower, eat, and bed. I mean, that's all I did. I mean, and since I've started on this water, I started on a bowling league on Friday nights. I ain't worth the crap, but I'm still there every Friday night, and I have fun. I mean, I can actually go into a restaurant, and everybody will know when I say this. I can go into a restaurant, and I don't have to get myself in the farthest back corner where I can see the whole place anymore and not be full of anxiety and fear.
I can see Matt here just wanting to say, "Preach it, brother," because he's just nodding his head and he's just, Okay, so there's a couple things I want to, because we've been at this for a while. There's a couple things I want you to wrap us up with. Tell us about your pressure washing business. Tell us about, because that's important. Whatever you're doing, and then I also want you to tell us about the other product, the project that you want to get into, because that's how you want to give back. So.
Right. Well, my pressure washing business, I got fired and I'd gotten in a car wreck and I was injured. I had a big knee brace on and Walmart fired me and I didn't know what I was going to do. So I'm sitting there in a big knee brace. I go out, start applying for jobs that I'm overqualified for, and no one would call me back. I was a liability in a big knee brace, So I was like, well, got my insurance for my vehicle, and I bought a little pressure washer, and that was 3 years ago. And this is not bragging, but I mean, I made almost $100,000 last year in pressure washing. And that was all me doing that, not anybody else. I didn't get any loans.
That's not an easy job.
And I didn't get loans from anybody. I mean, as I've made money, I've upgraded my equipment, and now I have a full-time employee, and I don't know if anybody knows what BNI is. My business is
I do. Yeah.
It's in 2 different chapters now, not just one. So I mean, my business is growing.
Business International or something.
Right.
But it's yeah.
So
and this is something that I really want people to take in, especially the veterans, especially anybody who might be struggling, because this is something that comes up time and again, is that, I mean, I've had suicide attempts. You've had suicide attempts. Nearly everybody I've talked to in this has had attempts, and luckily we weren't successful. And the thing is, we can know that, and like you said, it wasn't that you hated yourself or that you didn't want to live. It's like you didn't want to live like that.
Right.
And I think part of it comes from, we know we have this deep intrinsic value somewhere down there. And the biggest challenge for us and again, back to why Hero Harbor was created is that we've got to get each other through that dark moment. We've got to reach out to somebody who understands and just because there is something better coming. We may not know what it is, and it may be brutally stinking hard getting there, but we're veterans. We have been through much worse. We've just got to see that sun come up. We've got to take that breath of fresh air. So whatever it takes, whoever you have to reach out to, whatever it does to help you, whether it be a walk on the beach or just going out and finding somebody to talk to, or we've got to get through that dark place, because there is something better coming, and you're in a better place than you have ever been. And again, I'm 52. I turned 52 at the end of September. So I get it. It's like, but I was in that place. It's like my life is over. There's nothing, I cannot live like this. And if I could have only seen back then what you and I are seeing right now, it would have changed everything. And so,
Right.
Okay. All right. So,
I mean, I started my business with $400 worth of equipment.
mm-hmm.
And I've got over $18,000 in equipment now, not counting vehicles. That's just
Right.
equipment,
Right.
and I mean, I'm not anything. I mean, and I'm willing to sit down with anybody that
Right.
wants to start a lawn care, pressure, any kind of business, because I know the mistakes that I made starting out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I could help prevent those mistakes, for people to be successful, I mean, I'm willing to do that. I mean, call me. I mean, I'll make the time for anybody, because owning my own business actually gave me a ton of self-worth, because I can look at it, I can drive by people's houses that I cleaned, and I can see what I did. I can look at my equipment and like, nobody gave this to me.
Mm-hmm.
I earned every bit of that. And that makes me even feel better about who I am.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because, I didn't need anybody to do this for me. I did it. I struggled. I mean, I made some mistakes, and on some jobs I lost my butt because I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
But I did it. I did it anyway for the price that I quoted, because that's what I quoted, and I live by integrity. And I did it 2 times, but it made me go out and do a better estimate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be out there 3 days making $200 again. You know what I mean?
Okay, so tell us about the hog thing now. Tell us about the nonprofit you want to start.
Yeah, what I wanted to start, and I've done a little checking into it. I've got, Bass Pro's agreed to some things with me, but it's called Hogs for Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually came to my mind after I watched the Chris Kyle movie.
Mm-hmm.
Him taking guys out to the range and stuff. I cut meat for probably 30 years on and off throughout my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I want to do is I want to start the nonprofit where I take, veterans. I mean, they don't have to have PTSD, a veteran, but take them out, because here in Florida, we've got a problem with feral hogs.
Mm-hmm.
And take them out and shoot, and it's not so much about going out and shooting a hog. It's about those relationships that you build, and that quality time spent with that other person.
Yeah.
But go out and shoot some of these hogs that are, causing people problem on people's properties.
Mm-hmm.
I can process the hogs, and then either the nonprofit can donate it to a charity, or if the guy wants to do it in his name, he can actually donate it to a charity. I'll cut it up and we can donate it, and it'll feed homeless people.
I love it.
And so Bass Pro's agreed to some of the equipment once I get the, the nonprofit part established. And, Cabela's has agreed with some of it too, but Cabela's and Bass Pro are the same entity now. Bass Pro bought them out. So, I mean, and, some of the local gun shops and places that I've talked to they're like, as soon as you get that nonprofit, you come see us and we'll do what we can to help.
Okay. Well, you and I are going to meet or talk or something offline at some point, because I'm going to help you with that. Now, of course, in all its infinite wisdom, our dumbass government is, with our shutdown and everything else. Like I said, I applied for my status back. It was on November 30th, and it didn't even cross my mind because I'm so blissfully ignorant of what is happening out there. I just, for necessity, it had to be brought to my attention that with the government shutdown and everything else, that everything is probably going to be delayed. However, just so you know that once you've applied, nonprofit status is backdated, is grandfathered or backdated for 27 months. So once you've applied, and it's a really simple process, once you've applied, people can still help you, and they have 27 months for you to get approved, and for them to go, still be able to declare that stuff off on their taxes. So we can make that happen.
Well, cool.
So yeah. And see, and this is why I keep, I don't like twisting people's arms about getting into HH and things like that. But there's so many people who say, oh, we believe in your mission and this and that. But the very best possible way for you to support my mission is to get your dumb butt in the app, because no one, you've heard the quote, no better friend, no worse enemy. No one, I can promise you with every ounce of my Texas-sized heart, no one will fight harder for you. And, because I can't stand the noise of social media. I can't stand the constant, full-time job of trying to get noticed. Hero Harbor is, I'm there for you both personally and professionally. I swear to you that it doesn't have to be that way. It does not. We do not have to fight to get noticed. There are so many people who want to connect with you. There are so many people who want to help. And the very best possible way to make those connections is to shut out all the other crap and the people trying to scam us and the people saying, oh, me too, follow me, I'll follow you. Bullshit. I don't care about those numbers. I don't care. I care about these relationships. I care about the people. Matt sitting here is because I met him through, he saw what we were doing on IG. He got into the app. He and I began talking, and we developed a real relationship, not a bullshit fake thing through Facebook or anywhere else. I can reach out right now and touch him, and that's the most important thing in this world, whether it be verbal or physical. The fact is we've made real connections, and that is the most beautiful thing in the whole world, and that's what HH is all about. So, again, you and I, we're not that far apart. Ron has come up here to, take me to the meetings and stuff. So, I can come to you, you can come to me, we can meet in the middle. But I will help you, walk you through all that stuff. It's really not that difficult, and it's, that would just get you on the path to another dream and your dream helping people. So now, is there anything? Are you on social for with your? What is the name of your pressure washing?
It's Clean Green Pressure Washing LLC.
Okay. And are you on social with any, in other words, if people wanted to connect with you, and this is the other thing too, is if you, if you create a profile within HH, and again, I'm not twisting your arm, I'm just saying, I'm highly suggesting it, but I will before I launch this, I will let people know how to find you there. And, we will be putting in your oh my God, your URL, or anything else you want within the app. There'll be gold tags that say, veteran. Speaking of which, I have to make a call out to Matt right now. I was going through Matt's profile yesterday and noticed that he had put veteran owned business in his HH profile, which I was so excited about, because I hadn't thought about that as another gold tag, because, I can verify that, I know he's a veteran owned business. And so all the other tags are black, but that tag will say gold. And so we'll get you a veteran owned business tag, that kind of stuff. So I'm very excited about that. But
yeah, because I offer 10% to first responders and veterans.
And all of that can go in your profile. And we want people to know that. And so, as I said, no one will fight harder for you. And because I can't stand the noise, and I can't stand us going through this. Excellent. Okay, so I didn't let you answer the question. So as far as social, how do people find you? Do you have a website?
I'm on Facebook. I don't do a lot on Instagram. I do have.
It doesn't matter. We all have
Instagram,
our own platform.
And then I've got my website, and my phone number is the only phone that I've got. So I mean, it's the same number. My personal cell as well as my business cell.
Yeah, it's the same with me. So we'll put that all in the show notes. And what is the, just in case somebody doesn't go to the show notes, what's the URL for your business?
The cleangreenpressurewashing.com.
Okay, awesome. Well, all of that stuff will go in there.
Blank. I met a guy the other day. He met another guy in Ocala, and I'm trying to find this, but they're doing, I think it's a bi-weekly group to help veterans getting out of the military start their own businesses. And I'm trying to get the information on that, and I'll try to once I do that, get the two of y'all connected too, because I think it's through the chamber. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll find out the particulars this week on it and find out exactly who it is, who's holding it, when it is, the meeting location and everything, and I'll get you that information.
Yeah, that's the biggest frustration for me, and the thing that I just for instance, like, I know a veteran who he was a Navy SEAL. He has a business that is basically an Etsy for veterans. So, for all these artists, and it can be, like Matt here does custom fly rods. I met somebody else who does custom fly rods. There's people who do woodworking. There's people who do painting, and they're struggling so hard. I mean, art is typically not a very high paying endeavor anyway, and then on top of it, they're trying so hard. What they want to do is create their content, make their stuff, and what they're having to do is trying to get noticed. And so if we reduce all of that noise, anyway, the point is, I know all these artists, and this guy has been trying. He's a nonprofit, but he's been out there for 3.5 years, and he's not there. And so I can't manually, as a human being, try to find all of those veterans and all those artists and get them to him, and vice versa. And so that's, again, it makes it so much faster and easier. You just go in, you search for what you want, and okay, so I beat that horse plumb to death.
Well, I went to the VA here in Lecanto, and I tried to do a just time fishing flies, just do a class once a month. Just to bring some guys together, with a common interest that were veterans.
Right.
They wouldn't let me.
Okay, so I'm going to share.
Not let me.
I get it. And I'm going to share one more thing with you. So, and this is where your nonprofit will help. Okay. Actually, I'm going to share 2 more things. First of all, on the VA site, I don't know. I have no idea how I came across this, but on the VA site, they have a place where you can get verified as a veteran-owned business and get listed with them. So they have a database. It's almost 15,000 businesses right now. Now, what you do is you create your company, you get something called a DUNS number, and then that's the first thing. So there's that. So you can get right there onto that site, on the VA site. But the other thing is, I was back before we had Hero Harbor, when we were still trying to be veteran focused as part of my other app. It was, it's confusing the hell out of people, but my other app is a profit company. And so, because the thing is, we know that every single one of us is required to go through that out processing. I went through it in Okinawa back in '93. But just like you were saying before, it doesn't apply to me. I'm a Marine. What the hell do I need help for? And you have no idea what it's like when you get, and once again, it's taught by very often non-military people, or people, if at the very least, people who haven't been through the transition. How in the world can you talk to me about a transition that you haven't been through? The point is, though, I could not, I realized that what we need to do is get into those briefings, get in and talk to those people, but I couldn't do it because it was for profit. However, I learned that if you have a nonprofit, and if you have a product that is not, that's geared, it's a hero-focused cause, then there is far more likelihood that you can get onto these bases and get these products in. So again, we all need to band together and share this information, in a central place. So it's a process. I will help you get the nonprofit, and then we will figure out how to get us. But I would say I will send you the link. I don't know if I have your email, but when we finish up here, we'll trade all of that information, and that I will send you the link to, at the very least, you can get onto that site. But I have other plans for that, using that information too. So that's the thing. There's so much out there and so much available, and I'm just this sponge for information. So, but anyway, okay. So anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I think that covered
a lot.
Gamut.
Yeah, we did cover a lot. And the thing is, again, it's kind of a repeat story in terms of those of us who have survived. But the thing is, it's one that needs to be shared, because we think that we're alone. And I recently came up with a tagline for HH, and I keep repeating it to myself every so often, and I'm so in love with it. But the tagline is, because no hero serves alone, and we don't. We weren't alone when we were in the service, and we shouldn't be alone now. And it's just, we have to take the horns and you know, and understand that we're special. In any way you want to look at it, we're just a different breed. I had a stepbrother who joined the Army, and he's all kind of, you know, thinking that he's this tough shit. He got out because he couldn't handle boot camp. My stepmother said, "Why do they have to be so hard on him?" I'm like, and at this point, I'm out of the Marine Corps. I'm a war veteran. I'm trying to. And this woman's very fragile. She died at 57. 5 years older than we are, because she had been through so many meds and all that crap. She bought into all that junk. 57, and she looked like she was 90 for at least 10 years. But the point is, she, you know, I'm trying to explain to this fragile woman in as nice a way as I can, lady, they're trying to keep him from getting fucking killed, you know?
Right.
What else do you expect? So my point is that not, you know, it takes a special person just to get through. You know, so we need to embrace that specialness, because there's nothing wrong with it. It's a special kind of crazy, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in this world. So
right.
thank you so very very much.
Problem.
I look forward to us chatting again and getting you on the path to that nonprofit and such. So all right,
absolutely.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for spending this time with us. If you enjoyed the content we shared with you, please subscribe, review, and share this show with your friends. Veramore, the dating app, and Hero Harbor, the social connection tool for heroes, are both in the app stores. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as Veramore, Veramore_app, or Hero Harbor.